So what would be our next steps? Naturally, bake it up. Namely, bake the normal map and height map details alongside the vertex colors from the highest density mesh, which has about 100 million polygons. Okay, once you start projecting textures, the UV map will be generated automatically, but you can do it by pressing the Unwrap button, like I did. After unwrapping, the object will be covered with the checkerboard texture for debug purposes. Alternatively, if you have created the UV map in advance, for example in Blender, and you still want to see the beautiful checkerboard texture, you can press the checkerboard button over there. That will give us the idea about the UV distortion and about the textile density available to us. Everything looks right to me. We can go on and enable texture reprojection. Make sure that the correct source model and the result model have been selected. Actually, I'm gonna rename this newly imported one. Then click reproject. Wait a little bit till all the maps are generated. Usually it doesn't take awfully long. Reprojecting is a pretty fast operation. And here we go. Looking good. I will omit the exporting process as you're already familiar with it. Instead, I invite you to teleport with me back to Blender and arrange the meshes in some kind of a pack. Something that we can use to pull the certain mesh out of it and place into our level, for example. So right now it's a singular mesh, but we can select all vertices and go separate by loose parts from the right mouse button menu. So now each element that was separated by the empty space became its own object. The origins should be placed manually though, so shift and right mouse button to set the 3D cursor, right click, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. That's probably the fastest way to sort out the pivot points anyway, I think. Let's do this for all our meshes. Set 3D cursor, set origin based on it. Then it's a good practice to delete the null objects consisting of floating vertices and other such stuff and arrange all the meshes into some kind of a grid. What I mean is orienting the objects along the X or Y axis. We do all of this aligning shenanigans to reset the rotations afterwards. So after the object have been aligned, just select everything and then go Ctrl A and apply the rotation. And while we are on this page, apply this scale as well. After going through all of these steps, we should have a nicely organized pack of roof assets ready to be used. How exactly are we going to use this kit bash? Here I created an empty little scene to test it out. So basically the plane represents the roof surface, and then you just scatter the kit bash assets around it. The geometric details like these are especially handy for breaking up the straight edges and the corners. Usually the base of the roof is still created via texture, and by utilizing the kit bash, which originates from the same universe, from the same scene, we can make sure that it looks much more detailed than it actually is. But still, evidently, we need some kind of a roof texture to serve as the base, just like we mentioned. It won't hurt to bake some kind of the alpha mapped edge decals with uneven, broken down edge. It will furthermore help with breaking up the silhouette alongside the kit bash assets. That definitely sounds like a plan.